If you haven't already heard of OpenAI ChatGTP, I'm going to show you guys something really cool today, and we're going to have a lot of fun in this video. So OpenAI ChatGTP is essentially, from what I gather it, an AI system where you can ask it questions via a text input, and it will output an astonishingly accurate response to you depending on which question you ask it. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can ask it, and it will provide you these pretty accurate responses. So, I mean, we have a few examples here. So, explain quantum computer in simple terms. Got any creative ideas for 10-year-old's birthday? How do I make this HTTP request? There's a million different things that you can do with this. We'll just give you a quick example here. Explain quantum computing in simple terms. So here you go. You ask it a question. It gives you a pretty detailed response. You can ask this thing a number of different questions. I've been playing around with it for the last week now, and I've been trying to push it to its limits and try and figure out where it's most beneficial for my business and where I can use it in. And I thought about doing a fun video today. A lot of the things that I say on this channel, I would say are highly controversial to a lot of other advisors, and they might not agree with me. So today we're going to be fact checking. Let me count. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to be fact checking 8 different things that I say in this channel, which other advisors may not agree with, and we're going to see if ChatGTP agrees with them. What's up, guys? My name is Philip Setter, and for those of you who do not know me, I'm the founder and CEO of Affinity Life, where we've helped hundreds of Canadians get the right life insurance coverage at the right price from the comfort of their own home. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'll put the link in the description below and you can check it out. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, I feel like we need to warm this up a little bit here. So if you're not familiar with ChatGTP, it's a pretty insane tool, and it can do astonishing things that I'm still kind of, coming to terms with myself. So let's just give you an example here. So, I mean, this is going to be a problem, for a lot of things. So let's do an example here. Let's do, can you write me a 500-word essay around the harmful impacts of farming on the environment? Make it playful and be sure to include a strong conclusion. Now, you guys can see this. This thing is insane. The fact that it can take what you input, take all the different variables that you're putting into, make it playful, make it 500 words, make it about this, is pretty insane. So I've been playing around with this for the last week or so, and I've tried to make it pick a biased point of view from some of the things that I've been doing, and it won't. It's always going to give it a general point of view. It's not going to say one thing is better than the other thing. And yeah, it's been quite surprising actually to work through. Look at this. This is beautiful. Okay, so we have a bunch of different questions today that I say on my channel quite often here. We're going to go through them. We're going to fact check everything that I say and see what ChatGTP would say. And by the way, I actually, when I came up with the idea for this video, I only ran 1 or 2 of these. I didn't run all of them. As soon as I came up with the idea, I started writing the script, and I was going to actually run them until I was like, wait, it might make for a better video if I don't run any of these. So I only know the answer to 2 of them out of the 8. And one of them actually really surprised me. And I'm of course going to save that one to the very end. However, we're doing this all live. So we're actually 100% going to be fact checking myself, see if I'm on the right track here, or if I'm absolutely out to lunch and I've been lying to all of you guys here. So let's get right into it here. By the way, some of the limitations of this, and I'll put this up here, is it says it may occasionally generate incorrect information. You can't, it may, harmful instruction, biased content, or interesting, actually it does say that it will have biased content. That's interesting. And again, it has limited knowledge of the world events before 2021. So there are limitations to this, although I would say I haven't really come across any situation where it's been wrong. It might have left out some details, but it definitely hasn't been wrong. It's really interesting to use this software. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So number 1, does my stay-at-home spouse need life insurance? This is a relatively easy one. I would say most of the time, yes, absolutely. Especially if you have children. Life insurance is an important tool, and usually it's used to replace the income of the individual that's bringing in the income for the household. However, you do need to understand that there are some other services that the stay-at-home spouse is bringing into the family that might not be income related, but it might be service related, and making sure that you insure that is really important. So let's go ahead and enter this in, and let's see how accurate I was. Does my stay-at-home spouse need life insurance? She doesn't bring any income. I'm trying to be a little bit biased. Income, the family. Here we go. Stay-at-home spouse may provide valuable services, childcare, housekeeping, other forms of support. There's 5 in spouse may need to pay for these services. Boom. Okay. This is awesome. Okay. Fact checked. True. Okay, here we go. Let's do number 2. So term versus permanent, what's better? Okay, so here's the thing. Let me break it down. Term life insurance is the easiest to understand. It's the most inexpensive option. And I would say for the majority of Canadians, it's the best option because life insurance is really meant to protect yourself and your loved ones in the event that you did pass away. So this is really good for young families, people that, maybe just got a house, they may just got a new job, they're starting a family, they had kids. And if something were to happen, their family would be very financially impacted. Now, on the other side of that, permanent life insurance is a really good option for people that are now looking towards estate planning. Maybe they're looking towards leaving something behind for the next generation, maybe taxes at death, maybe leaving something behind for a charity, but it's people that are looking towards estate plan and not necessarily covering themselves for that specific period of time when their family is growing up. So let's see how accurate I am with this. They both have their own benefits and drawbacks. Term life insurance, it covers you for a specific period of time, such as 10, 20, or 30. It'll pay out the death benefit. It's almost like I'm telling it what to say. It's important to consider your long-term financial goals as well as your budget. And a financial advisor can help you out. Okay, they didn't really answer it that much. They kind of wanted to play both sides of the fence here. So I would say I'm going to give myself 80% if we're going by this as truth, 80%, because they didn't really say which one is better than the other. And they didn't really say anything about estate planning. So I'm going to give myself 80% truth on that one. When is the best time to buy life insurance? So here's the thing. So there's, for me personally, this is what I believe, and this is what I think to be true, and I hope GDP believes me too. So the best time to buy life insurance, I think, has nothing to do with age. Here's the thing. If you're 19 years old and you have a family and you have, a spouse and you have kids and you have financial responsibilities, and if something were to happen to you, they would be financially impacted, that's the right time to buy life insurance. If you're 40 and you have no dependents and no one relies upon you financially, it doesn't matter that you're 40. I mean, you don't have a need for life insurance. So the right time to buy life insurance is when you have a family and dependents, maybe aging parents or people that rely upon you. And if you were to pass away, they would be financially impacted. So here we go. Yeah, so they didn't really say, of course they're giving quite a, expansive answer here. So they said, okay, financial responsibility, age and health. So get it, if you're younger and in good health, you may be able to get a lower premium on a life insurance policy. So I'm going to actually disagree with them there. But if we're going with them as 100% truth, again, if you're younger and you're in good health and you have a need for life insurance, then get life insurance. However, if you're just younger and in good health, but with no need for life insurance, I don't agree that you should get life insurance. Like, you have no need for it, right? So locking, quote unquote, in the rates for something that you may or may not need in the future, like, you're not going to buy auto insurance, right? Like, you're not going to buy car insurance on a car you don't own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to, one day I'm going to get this BMW and I might get it 5 years from now, but I'm going to start paying the auto insurance today, just to lock in the rates, because who knows, maybe I'll get a few speeding tickets and it might be more expensive in 5 years. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense, right? So, okay, I'm going to give myself 80% on this one as well. Okay, this is going to be a good one. Okay, should I get life insurance when I'm young just to lock in the rates? And we're actually just talking about this, just to lock in the rates, even if I don't have a need for life insurance. So here we go. This is going to be good. To lock in the rates, even if I don't have a need for life insurance. Here we go. Now, my answer to this is unequivocally, I don't want to say that actually. Let me hang on. Let me come back. I'm going to say 85 to 90% of the time, you should not get life insurance when you do not have a need for it. I'm sure you've heard me now in this video talk a lot about this. If there are some scenarios where you may want to consider getting life insurance when you're young to lock in the rates, if you have a few caveats. So the one caveat is, if you are an unhealthy individual and if your family also is unhealthy. So some life insurance company will look at extended family, and if they have hereditary illnesses, such as maybe diabetes or something like that, they're going to look at that and they're going to factor that in when you go for life insurance. Okay, so if you are unhealthy, and your family is unhealthy, maybe it's a good idea to lock in those rates while you're young, because when you're older, maybe you will develop diabetes or some other type of health conditions, or your family will, and that'll impact your rating for life insurance. So there's one reason why you might want to lock in your rates when you're young. Other reason why you might want to lock in your rates is for lifestyle decisions. So if you have certain lifestyle decisions that you want to start pursuing, let's say extreme hobbies or climbing, ice climbing, rock climbing, something like that. Well, that can be very difficult to get life insurance on, and your rates can be quite expensive when it comes to that type of coverage. So if maybe in the future of course we don't know what we're going to fall into when we're older, but maybe you're indoor rock climbing at this point, maybe it's a good time to secure life insurance now before you start progressing to all these other things, because eventually, I'd like to start ice climbing and mountaineering and climbing climb Everest and what are all these other things, right? That might be a good opportunity to lock in your rates while you're young, even if you don't have a need, because it can go exponentially higher if you start those activities. However, for the vast majority of Canadians that are still healthy, they're not really doing a lot of those lifestyle decisions, they don't have a need for life insurance, I'd say it's not a good idea to lock in your rates. Basically, between 20 years old and 30 years old, the premium is virtually identical. So you're not really locking in any preferential rate over when you're 20. It might just be if your lifestyle changes or if your health changes. Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Oh, I feel like I nailed this. Generally a good idea. Consider getting it as early as possible. Yeah, so the cost tends to increase as you get older. If you have certain health conditions, you may be able to get a lower premium when you're younger and in good health. That's exactly what I said. However, just because it may be financially beneficial when you're younger doesn't mean you should get it if you do not have a need for it. It's designed to provide financial protection to your loved ones in the event of your death. So it's important to have coverage if you have financial responsibilities such as a mortgage or children. Boom, 100% fact. I feel like I nailed this one. If you're young and you do not have any financial responsibilities, you may not need life insurance at this time. I nailed this one. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. How to buy life insurance without getting ripped off? I would say, hang on. Yeah, I got a couple notes here. Okay, so 1, do your research. Make sure you know what you're buying. What else do I have? 2, work with a broker. You want to make sure that you're working with a broker who can get access to a lot of different companies to make sure you're getting the best rate. And 3, make sure you know what you're getting into. So that's my 3 suggestions for how to buy life insurance without getting ripped off. Let's see what they say. Shop around. Their number 1 tip, shop around. Get quotes from multiple insurers to make sure you're getting a fair price. That was number 1. Understand the policy. Make sure you fully understand the terms and conditions of the policy. Read the fine print. Work with a reputable insurer. Okay, I didn't say that one. That's pretty good. Use a financial advisor, insurance professional to make sure that you're getting your need. This is amazing here. So following these tips, I'm going to give myself 100% fact. 100%. This is basically exactly what I said. So what's the next one here? I'm super excited for this one. Should you buy life insurance on your child? Unequivocally, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, this is a bad idea. Most advisors that will pitch the idea of buying life insurance on your child, they'll say it for a few different reasons. I mean, number 1, they'll say, if they did pass away, you would have some money to take off and you could recover. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is that you would be guaranteeing future insurability. So if anything happened, they would have some life insurance in place because you're getting it while they're young. And number 3, they say that you can use this, and they're usually pitching a permanent life insurance policy. You can use this to help fund their education. You can use it to buy their first car, buy their first house, etc., etc., etc. I would say unequivocally, 85 to 90% of the time, this is going to be a bad idea. And we'll just go through the points. So 1, if something did happen to him, you'd have some money to put, you'd take off time from work or whatever it is. Yeah, you could. However, I think it's much more beneficial for you to focus on your own financial planning, and just maybe you could put that savings into an emergency fund. Maybe instead you could save that premium, put it into an investment where you'd have some cash, that you could take out from your investment, and then you could take out time off work. You want to build your own financial situation up before you ever start to think about this. Number 2 is a guaranteed insurability. Yeah, I mean, you have it, but typically policies in this range are like 50 to 100 to, maybe $150,000. So I get clients all the time that come in, they say, yeah, my parents bought me this policy. It's 150. I'm like, okay, great. That's a good start. How much life insurance do you need? And they're like, yeah, I need like 1.5 million. And so, when you actually start to look at the needs of what people are now that they're finally, 20, 25 and they have a family of their own and they have kids of their own, it's going to be much more than what they got at the beginning. And I mean, nowadays there's so many options, even for people that have health conditions, there's still so many options. So that guaranteed insurability thing, I think, is just not that beneficial. And the third one is that you can use it for education purposes or fun in their own car or something like that. The education one is out to friggin' lunch because an RESP squashes this thing so bad. I mean, if you don't know what an RESP is, look it up, but essentially it's a tax deferred account that of course you can use to fund your child's education, and the government puts money into it. They put their own money into it. They match up to certain percentages throughout the years, and it's like $7,000 that they put into this strategy. So that gets squashed. Yeah, they could use it to buy a car, I guess. Yeah, they could use it to help fund a house. I would say 9 times out of 10, this is not a great idea. You should look at your own situation first, your own retirement, your own life insurance, your own emergency funds, your own budget, and your own debt long before, and the RESP of the child, long before you'd ever look at something like this. And then even still, it's meh, it's like, it's not bad. It's definitely not great. It's just, it's a nice to have, but I would not recommend it in most cases. Let's see what they say. Should you buy life insurance on your child? Here we go. It's generally not necessary to buy it on your child. While it can be emotionally difficult to think about the possibility of your child passing away, the likelihood is relatively low. The financial impact is usually minimal. In most cases, the cost of the policy outweighs potential benefits. There are some circumstances when it might make sense. If they have serious medical conditions, they could provide financial protection. It may be worth considering. Overall, it's important to consider your family's financial needs and circumstances. It's always a good idea to speak with someone. Yeah, they kind of went, 50-50. Yeah, I don't know. What am I going to give myself? I'm going to give myself 90% on this. Okay, the last one that we're going to put in here, which I'm super excited about, is life insurance a good investment? And this is one of probably the most heavily debated topics on this channel. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you'll know that I think that it's a bad idea for the vast majority of Canadians to invest in life insurance. And I go against the grain for 90% of the advisors in Canada that look to sell not only a policy to everyone, even if they have a need or not, but they look to just increase that premium amount. And I just don't agree with it. Here's my major problems that I have with this type of planning or this type of strategy. I mean, number one, it's usually what I find recommended to clients in replace of just a simple, affordable term life insurance product. So you'll have a couple come in and they just say, hey, we have, kids, we have a family, we have a house, we have mortgage, we have debts. If I were to pass away, they'd be financially impacted. We need $1 million of coverage. And they say, well, you could do that. However, instead of doing that, why don't you instead of spending $30 a month for $1 million policy, why don't you spend $400 a month for a permanent life insurance policy, and your death benefit will be $200,000, $250,000, and you can save for retirement. So I don't think this is a great idea for a number of different reasons. One, now they're not really getting the coverage that they need. And two, if you compare this strategy to just a very simple RRSP, it kind of falls apart. And there's many different variables with this strategy. There's a lot of strings attached, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this strategy. So I don't think it's a good idea for the vast majority of Canadians. However, caveat that for the minority of Canadians that have already again maxed out their RSP, their TFSA, and they're looking for additional tax strategies or investment vehicles that they can put in that can be used to supplement their retirement income and use it potentially as a buffer asset, it could be a really good idea. I made another lengthy video where I kind of details apples to apples, life insurance as an investment versus a traditional RRSP. And if you're interested in that video, just drop a comment below and I'll send it to you. However, I would say 9 times out of 10, it's not a good idea for the vast majority of Canadians. So let's see what GTP says here. Is life insurance a good? A little bit nervous. We'll see what it says. Boom. Drop the mic. Life insurance can be a good planning tool. However, it's not necessarily a good investment in the traditional sense. It doesn't generate a financial return in the way that stocks or other investment vehicles do. Some do have an investment component such as cash value. It can accumulate over time, can be used for other things, long care expenses. However, it's important to keep in mind the primary purpose of life insurance is to provide financial protection for your loved ones in the event of your death, rather than to generate a financial return. 100%. If you're looking at life insurance, it's a good idea to speak. They like to chill. I can't really say he or she because it's an AI. So whatever it is, it really likes to skirt the line. It doesn't like to take sides. It's chilling on one side or the other. So I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different than what I usually do. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to openai.com. Check this tool out. It's pretty bananas, some of the things that you can do with it. If you guys enjoyed this video, all I ask is that you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.